When you picture the California elite, you probably imagine the palm-lined streets of Beverly Hills or the tourist-filled sidewalks of Hollywood. But the truth? The real power players left those zip codes years ago. In 2025, the ultra-wealthy aren't looking for fame. They're paying millions for invisibility. From Silicon Valley fortresses disguised as rustic farmhouses to gated cities where Google Maps goes blank, California's true wealth is hidden in plain sight. We are taking you inside the 20 most exclusive, secretive, and mind-bogglingly expensive enclaves in the Golden State. These are the towns where billionaires, tech moguls, and royalty actually live. Places where the average home price makes Beverly Hills look like a bargain. Welcome to the hidden map of California's elite. We start our journey at the undisputed king of American real estate, Atherton. For years, this small San Mateo County town has held the title of the most expensive zip code in the United States, 94027. In 2025, median home prices here hover around $8 million. But that's just for a teardown. The real estate, owned by tech titans like Eric Schmidt and venture capital royalty, regularly trade for over $30 million. What makes Atherton so appealing to the ultra-rich? It is aggressively boring by design. There are no sidewalks, no streetlights, and absolutely no commercial zones. You won't find a grocery store or a coffee shop here, just 6-foot privacy hedges and gates that guard sprawling acres of land. It is a town built purely for privacy, allowing Silicon Valley's kings to live in complete anonymity just minutes from their headquarters. If Atherton is for the quiet tech elite, Hidden Hills is the fortress for Hollywood's modern royalty. Located in the San Fernando Valley, this gated city has effectively replaced Beverly Hills for A-list celebrities like the Kardashians and Drake. But don't expect glitz. The vibe here is intentionally rural chic. The entire community is famously equestrian, with white picket fences and horse trails replacing sidewalks. However, the rustic aesthetic is a facade for extreme security. Residents live behind 3 layers of checkpoints, making it virtually impenetrable to paparazzi. This is why Kim Kardashian continues to expand her compound here in 2025. It offers the illusion of a simple country life, but with $50 million mansions and a neighbor list that reads like the Grammy Awards guest list. It is the ultimate bubble for those who live their lives on camera. Head north to Santa Barbara County, and you will find Montecito, a coastal haven that blends old-world aristocracy with modern celebrity power. This isn't just a town, it's a sanctuary where Oprah Winfrey, Prince Harry, and Meghan Markle sip coffee in peace. Unlike the manicured perfection of Hidden Hills, Montecito feels wild and organic, nestled between the Santa Ynez Mountains and the Pacific Ocean. The wealth here is staggering, but it whispers rather than shouts. You'll find historic Mediterranean estates hidden behind century-old oaks and eucalyptus trees. In 2025, Montecito remains the primary escape for the ultra-famous who want to be treated like normal people. The local culture fiercely protects residents' privacy, meaning you could be standing next to a billionaire media mogul at the local bakery and nobody would bat an eye. Returning to Silicon Valley, we find Los Altos Hills, a town that strictly enforces a rural atmosphere to keep the riffraff out. Zoning laws here are legendary. Most lots must be at least 1 acre, ensuring that houses are far apart and neighbors rarely see each other. This is the preferred habitat for the founders of Google and other tech giants who want unparalleled views of the empire they built. The terrain is rolling and hilly, offering panoramic vistas of the San Francisco Bay, but the roads are winding and confusing to outsiders, a natural defense mechanism. In 2025, Los Altos Hills continues to command some of the highest property taxes in the country, funding a private police force and meticulous maintenance. It is less of a town and more of a collection of private resorts, each with its own vineyard or tennis complex. In Los Angeles, everyone knows Malibu, but the real money is concentrated on a mile-long stretch of sand known as Carbon Beach. Appropriately nicknamed Billionaires Beach, this strip features some of the most expensive oceanfront real estate on the planet. Here, entertainment moguls like David Geffen and tech visionaries like Larry Ellison own homes that sit directly on the water. The appeal is the Pacific Ocean in your backyard, but the reality is a strange juxtaposition. These $50 million glass boxes sit right off the noisy Pacific Coast Highway. Yet the trade-off is worth it for the access. In 2025, owning a home on Carbon Beach is the ultimate status symbol, signaling that you haven't just made it in Hollywood. You own the studio. It is a tight-knit row of power where deals are made on the deck over crashing waves. Just a few miles from Atherton lies Woodside, the rugged, nature-loving cousin to the manicured suburbs. If Atherton is a tuxedo, Woodside is a cashmere sweater. Hidden among towering ancient redwoods, this town offers massive estates that feel like private national parks. It is famously the home of the Oracle of Oracle, Larry Ellison, who modeled his estate after a 16th century Japanese imperial palace. Woodside appeals to the eccentric billionaire who wants land. Lots of it. The town fights aggressively against development, preserving a rural vibe where horses are as common as Teslas. In 2025, as the world becomes more digital, the tangible isolation of Woodside has arguably made it more desirable than ever. It is a place where you can buy a mountain, build a compound, and disappear into the fog. Most Californians have never heard of Bradbury, and the residents prefer it that way. Tucked into the foothills of the San Gabriel Mountains, this tiny city is essentially one giant gated community. It gained fame when the In-N-Out Burger heiress listed her massive compound here, but it has long been a haven for manufacturing tycoons and international wealth. Bradbury is divided into two parts, the regular gated area and the ultra-exclusive Bradbury Estates. In the estates, minimum lot sizes are 5 acres, and the homes are palaces, literally. We're talking about 30,000 square foot mansions with ballrooms and private lakes. In 2025, Bradbury remains one of the few places in Southern California where you can build a house the size of a shopping mall without anyone complaining, because your neighbor's house is even bigger. Hillsborough is where the old money of San Francisco moved after the 1906 earthquake, and the vibe of aristocratic permanence remains. Located just south of the city, this town is strictly residential. It actually has laws prohibiting commercial businesses. You cannot buy a pack of gum in Hillsborough. You have to send your assistant to the next town over. The streets are lined with historic manors that rival the best of the East Coast, featuring ballrooms, servant wings, and manicured gardens. In 2025, while tech money has certainly moved in, Hillsborough retains a sense of formal dignity that places like Atherton lack. It is home to dynastic families and CEOs who prefer a classic, stately environment over modern glass boxes. If you want to feel like you're living in the Great Gatsby, you move to Hillsborough. Orange County's answer to the Amalfi Coast is Newport Coast. Perched on hillsides overlooking the Pacific, neighborhoods like Crystal Cove and Pelican Hill offer a resort-style existence that is flawlessly manicured. Everything here is new, clean, and incredibly expensive. The architecture is uniformly Mediterranean, creating a sea of terracotta roofs against the blue ocean. This is where the new rich of Southern California flock, wealthy surgeons, developers, and sports stars who want turnkey luxury. The gated communities here are legendary, with guardhouses that look like Italian villas. In 2025, the Pelican Hill sector is particularly hot, offering homes with subterranean garages for car collections and infinity pools that seem to drop into the sea. It is less about privacy and more about visible perfection, a life that looks exactly like a high-end real estate brochure. Deep in San Diego County lies Rancho Santa Fe, a community famously known as the Covenant. This was one of the first planned communities in the state, designed to preserve a Spanish colonial aesthetic. Today, it is a haven for figures like Bill Gates, who purchased a massive equestrian estate here. The town center is tiny and charming, but the homes are sprawling compounds hidden behind eucalyptus groves. Rancho Santa Fe is unique because it combines extreme wealth with a relaxed cowboy boot culture. It isn't flashy like LA, it's where wealthy people go to retire or raise families in quiet luxury. In 2025, the Covenant still enforces strict architectural rules, ensuring that no modern monstrosities ruin the rural vibe. It feels like a wealthy, small town from the 1930s, frozen in time, but upgraded with fiber optic internet. While many wealthy Californians flee the cities, the die-hard urbanites cling to Pacific Heights. This San Francisco neighborhood boasts Billionaires Row, a 3-block stretch of Broadway, where the views of the Golden Gate Bridge are worth tens of millions. This is vertical wealth. Instead of sprawling acres, you have 4-story mansions squeezed onto steep hillsides. Residents here include the Getty family and Larry Ellison, again, proving his portfolio is everywhere. In 2025, Pacific Heights remains the power center of San Francisco society. The homes here are architectural masterpieces, survivors of earthquakes and shifting trends. Living here makes a specific statement. You want to be in the center of the action, looking down on the world from a literal pedestal. It is old-school prestige with the best view in the country. Imagine an island where every single home has a multi-million-dollar view. That is Belvedere. Located in Marin County, just across the Golden Gate Bridge, this tiny city is surrounded by water on 3 sides. It is historically a summer retreat for San Francisco's elite that turned into a year-round enclave. The geography limits the population, creating natural exclusivity. There is simply no room for new development. In 2025, Belvedere is prized for its sailing culture and the fact that it feels safe and removed from the city while being visually connected to it. The homes cling to the cliffside, offering decks that hang over the bay. It is quiet, breezy, and incredibly nautical. If you own a yacht and a tuxedo, Belvedere is your natural habitat. Rolling Hills is unique on this list because the entire city is a gated community. Located on the Palos Verdes Peninsula, you cannot even drive on its public roads without passing a guard gate. Once inside, you are transported to a different era. The city has a strict ranch-style mandate. All homes must be 1-story, white, and have equestrian facilities. There are no traffic lights, and wide trails run parallel to every street. It feels like the Wild West, if the cowboys were CEOs and the horses were thoroughbreds. In 2025, Rolling Hills remains one of the most private places in California. The views are spectacular, offering a sweeping panorama of the LA basin and the ocean. But the isolation is the real selling point. It is a fortress disguised as a ranch. Back in San Francisco, there is a neighborhood that feels like it's falling into the ocean. Seacliff. Perched on the cliffs overlooking Baker Beach and the Pacific, this enclave is famous for its colorful mansions and celebrity residents, including Twitter founder Jack Dorsey at one point. Unlike Pacific Heights, which looks at the bay, Seacliff stares straight out into the wild ocean. The drama of the landscape is unmatched. Some homes have private trails down to the beach, a rarity in the city. In 2025, Seacliff remains the artistic, slightly bohemian alternative to the stuffy wealth of other neighborhoods. It's foggy, windswept, and breathtakingly beautiful. The residents here pay a premium for the feeling of living on the edge of the continent, with the Golden Gate Bridge framing their sunset every night. If Montecito is for the celebrities who want to be seen, Hope Ranch is for the wealthy who want to disappear. Located right next door in Santa Barbara, Hope Ranch is an equestrian community entered through a grand archway. It has its own private beach access, a private golf club, and miles of bridle trails. The vibe is distinctively mid-century ranch meets Spanish colonial. You won't find Prince Harry here, but you might find the CEO of a defense contractor or an old money oil family. In 2025, Hope Ranch offers a level of community security that is hard to match. The private beach is a major draw, exclusive to residents and accessed by a key card. It is the definition of quiet luxury, where the wealth is in the land and the lifestyle, not the flash. Portola Valley is the academic sibling to Atherton and Woodside. Nestled in a wooded valley along the San Andreas Fault, this town prides itself on being environmentally conscious and architecturally understated. You won't find faux French chateaux here. Instead, the multi-million-dollar homes are low-slung, modern structures built from glass and reclaimed wood, designed to blend into the oak trees. It is a favorite for the more intellectual side of Silicon Valley. Professors who struck it rich, and engineers who value sustainability over status. In 2025, Portola Valley remains incredibly expensive, but aggressively casual. The local schools are among the best in the nation, and the trail system is the town's social hub. It is wealth that drives a muddy Subaru instead of a Ferrari, but lives in a $20 million eco compound. In Marin County, the tiny town of Ross is arguably the most exclusive address north of the Golden Gate. With a population of just over 2,000, it is a tight-knit community of old wealth and new finance money. The town is defined by its canopy of trees. The streets are shaded tunnels of green that hide grand estates. Ross Common, the town center, looks like a Norman Rockwell painting, but the real estate prices are pure California dystopia. In 2025, Ross continues to attract families who want a small-town upbringing for their children without sacrificing elite status. The Ross School is a public school that operates like a private academy, funded by the immense property taxes of the residents. It is a bubble of perfection where everything is manicured, safe, and wildly expensive. Emerald Bay is arguably the most exclusive gated community in Orange County. Located in Laguna Beach, it isn't just a neighborhood, it's a private cove. The homes are built into the amphitheater-like hills surrounding a pristine half-mile stretch of white sand that is accessible only to residents. If you don't live here, you don't swim here. The community has its own fire station, tennis complex, and swim team. In 2025, homes in eBay are rarely listed on the open market. They are passed down through families or sold in whisper deals. The lifestyle is centered entirely around the beach. It is like living at a 5-star resort where you know all the guests. For the wealthy who love the ocean but hate the crowds of public beaches, Emerald Bay is the only option. Pebble Beach is legendary among golfers, but as a residential community, it is a fortress of wealth. Located on the Monterey Peninsula, the homes here are situated along the famous 17-mile drive. Living here means your backyard is one of the most beautiful coastlines in the world, and often a fairway of a championship golf course. The residents are a mix of corporate titans and retired legends like Clint Eastwood, who was once the mayor of nearby Carmel. In 2025, Pebble Beach remains a destination for the global elite. It is quiet, foggy, and incredibly scenic. The cypress trees and crashing waves provide a dramatic backdrop for estates that range from Spanish colonial to modern glass masterpieces. It is a place for those who view golf not as a game, but as a religion. Finally, we return to Los Angeles to correct a misconception. Beverly Hills is famous, but Holmby Hills is where the billionaires actually live. Together with Bel Air and Beverly Hills, it forms the Platinum Triangle, but Holmby is the crown jewel. This is the home of the Playboy Mansion and the Spelling Manor. The lots are larger, the streets are wider, and the privacy is absolute. You won't find tour buses here because there's nothing to see but hedges. In 2025, Holmby Hills is experiencing a renaissance as the ultra-wealthy buy up adjacent properties to create mega compounds. It is the power center of LA, where the homes have names and histories that eclipse the people who live in them. If Beverly Hills is for the stars, Holmby Hills is for the people who pay them. So while the world watches Beverly Hills, the true power players of California are tucked away in these 20 enclaves. From the equestrian trails of Hidden Hills to the private beaches of Emerald Bay and the tech fortresses of Atherton, the pattern is clear. Real wealth values privacy above all else. In 2025, the ultimate luxury isn't being seen. It's having the resources to disappear into your own private paradise. Which of these hidden towns would you choose for your compound? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more tours of the billionaire lifestyle.